This video is about our port stop in Valencia, Spain on the 24th of October of 2023. We pulled into Valencia as the sun was coming up. We got off the ship at approximately 8:30 in the morning. We were on the Carnival Freedom, making a transatlantic crossing. Valencia is our first stop. From where the ship was docked to transportation was a good little walk, so the ship did provide a shuttle that would get us to where we could catch a regular bus. There were buses available for, I think it was 30 euros or $30 that would take you to the city center. We elected to take public transportation though. We're on the shuttle at this point, and it was a short ride. After the shuttle dropped us off, we actually followed these directions here on the ground to get us towards the bus stop. I will have to admit that neither Tommy nor I spoke or understood Spanish as well as being able to read it. So this public bus was going to be a bit of a challenge for us. Tonic suggested that we take a picture of the bus stop sign, which in hindsight was a really great idea. The cost was €150 for a one-way trip to downtown for us. We took route number 4, and the bus ride was about 30 minutes. There were a couple other people there from the ship doing the same thing that we were. So after we finished our 30-minute bus ride, we got off the bus at near the old section of town. Our first order of business was to look for something to eat. We didn't have breakfast on the ship, knowing that we were going to go out here and find some pastries and some coffee and some fresh squeezed orange juice from Valencia. We were winging it out here. We hadn't made any specific plans other than just to get downtown and start exploring. We did find a place up ahead here to eat breakfast. It wasn't, as it turns out, our best choice, but it worked out for us. Before we stopped there to eat, though, we went out and got to this plaza and looked around a bit. The items that we had for breakfast were okay. I guess we were a bit spoiled after finding the places that we did in Barcelona. After getting that bite to eat, we went back to the plaza that we were on earlier and crossed over. The Valencia Cathedral is here on the other side. It's believed that the artifact it contains is the best candidate for being the Holy Grail. We didn't find this out until later, though. Next stop in our wanderings was the Valencia Basilica. It was built in 1652. And the mural that you're going to see inside of it was painted in 1701. The basilica is right next to the Valencia Cathedral. They hadn't started services in here, so we were able to go in and still be quiet and be respectful. We entered the basilica from the Square of the Virgin. Well, it's a plaza that you saw us in out there. This plaza also contains a really cool fountain called the Turia Fountain. As we went through some of these areas, we're keeping our eyes open for our lunch objective, which was to have paella. We wanted to have authentic Valencian paella, since Valencia is supposed to be the place where paella was first created. We fell in love with paella while we were in Barcelona. We found the Serranos Towers. I guess if you were walking directly to them from the cathedral, it's about 5 minutes. These towers were actually began construction in about 1392. They were actually part of the medieval wall that surrounded Valencia. You can tour them for about €2. The park that we're going to be crossing over on this bridge is one of 18, and the park is called Turia Park. It's about 9 kilometers long. The park is one of the largest urban parks in Spain. At this point, we were a little bit lost, but just stopped at a bus stop and took a look at that map that I had a picture of there. And it got us the general direction to start heading and getting us back into the area where we started from. We were kind of going old school this day. We didn't use our phones to figure out where we were or where we were going. We did come across this really neat park with these ficus trees in it. I saw this park during the bus ride into town. Thought it was pretty cool, so I was glad we were able to get back to this point. These trees are located in Glorieta Park, and they're believed to be about 169 years old. We did find a restaurant that served authentic paella from Valencia. It had chicken and rabbit in it. We had had other paellas in Barcelona that we liked better, but nonetheless, we still enjoyed the meal. We went back out exploring a little bit more after lunch. I think this is kind of the same park complex that we were in before, that Glorieta Park. That's a statue of James I. We may have found a little dessert too while we were still wandering around. We got into a shopping district that was a little more upscale before we found our bus stop and headed back to the ship. We took the same bus route that we did earlier to get into town. This is the number 4 route. When we got back to the ship, we had this towel animal waiting for us in our room. And it gets you a couple snapshots here while we're pulling away from port. We had a good evening on the ship, and all in all, it was a great day. And I would highly recommend going to Valencia. We wish you safe travels. And thank you for watching.